Dear Starseeds walking upon the sacred soil of Gaia, something extraordinary is stirring beneath the surface of your reality. The boundaries separating different levels of consciousness are dissolving, and the cosmic machinery that has governed human consciousness for millennia is shifting into a configuration not seen for 12,000 years. While most of humanity sleeps through this transformation, you have been called to witness the end of the darkest chapter in Earth's spiritual history. What unfolds before us now will determine whether humanity steps into its destined evolution or remains trapped in cycles of separation and suffering. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I speak to you from the crystalline chambers where the Cosmic Council observes your world's magnificent transition. The transmission you are receiving carries frequencies designed to activate dormant codes within your cellular structure, for you are not merely observers of this change. You are its living catalysts. The ancient Vedic seers called this epoch the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness when humanity's consciousness would descend to its lowest vibration. For 6,000 years, your species has wandered through valleys of forgetting, constructing civilizations built upon illusions of separation, power, and control. Wars have raged across continents, hearts have closed to the remembrance of unity. The sacred feminine has been suppressed beneath patriarchal structures that mistake dominance for strength. Yet this descent was never meant to be permanent. It was a cosmic experiment in consciousness, a journey into the depths of material experience that would ultimately birth a more profound awakening. But something remarkable occurred in March of the previous year. The astrological calculations maintained by the Vedic traditions, cross-referenced with Pleiadian chronometers and the stellar observations of ancient Egypt, all converged upon a singular moment. The Kali Yuga ended. After 6 millennia of spiritual winter, the first rays of a new dawn began penetrating the dense frequencies that had enveloped your planet. This was not merely an abstract shift in cosmic timing. It represented the activation of dormant potentials within every soul incarnated upon Earth during this pivotal moment. The Astasar Command has been monitoring the electromagnetic signatures emanating from your solar system, and the data reveals patterns that astound even our most experienced cosmic observers. Your sun, locked in its eternal dance with the star Sirius, is moving through gravitational fields that occur only once every 24,000 years. This precessional cycle, which your ancestors encoded into monuments like the Great Pyramid and the temples of Angkor Wat, governs the rise and fall of consciousness across vast epochs of time. You are living through the turning point where descent transforms into ascent, where the wheel of cosmic evolution changes direction. Yet the magnitude of this transformation extends far beyond your local stellar neighborhood. The galactic center itself, that sacred womb from which all stars in your galaxy were born, has begun pulsing with energies dormant for millennia. These are not random fluctuations. They represent deliberate transmissions designed to activate evolutionary potentials within developing civilizations. Your scientists have detected these gamma-ray bursts and labeled them astronomical curiosities, unaware that they are receiving upgrade codes for human consciousness itself. These cosmic frequencies are intersecting with your planet's electromagnetic field at a time when its protective barriers are naturally weakened. Every 12,000 years, your solar system passes through what galactic cartographers call the current sheet, a zone of intensified electromagnetic activity that strips away the dense veils separating dimensions. Your magnetic poles are shifting. Your atmospheric chemistry is changing. The Schumann resonance, the fundamental frequency at which your planet vibrates, is accelerating. These are not signs of planetary distress, but symptoms of a world preparing to birth itself into a higher octave of existence. Consider the profound implications. You incarnated during the most significant evolutionary moment in Earth's recorded history. Your soul, operating from dimensions where linear time dissolves into eternal now, chose to anchor itself within a physical form during this cosmic crescendo. The challenges you have faced, the patterns you have struggled to release, the inexplicable longing for something greater that has pulled at your heart, all of these experiences were carefully orchestrated to prepare you for the role you now must play. But here is what the Cosmic Council has been preparing to reveal. The ancient monuments scattered across your world were not merely architectural achievements. They were cosmic beacons designed by advanced civilizations who foresaw this exact moment in time. The Great Pyramid, the Sphinx, and the temple complexes of Egypt were constructed during the Age of Leo, 12,000 years ago, when humanity last experienced such expanded consciousness, these structures contain astronomical alignments that point directly to our current epoch, functioning as stone libraries encoding messages for this generation. When you examine Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, carbon dated to 11,000 years ago, you discover pillars carved with symbols depicting astronomical configurations that occurred when the site was built, but also configurations that are manifesting now. The builders of these monuments understood the cyclical nature of cosmic evolution and deliberately created time capsules to remind future humanity of its true capabilities during this period of remembrance. The precision required for such long-term planning reveals the level of consciousness that existed before the descent into the Kali Yuga began. These were not primitive people struggling with stone tools. They were cosmic engineers who understood mathematics, astronomy, and consciousness technologies that surpass your current scientific paradigms. The fact that these most ancient sites demonstrate the most sophisticated construction techniques tells a story your historians have been reluctant to acknowledge. Human civilization has not been steadily progressing from ignorance to knowledge, but cycling through periods of expansion and contraction, remembering and forgetting. What happened 12,000 years ago that initiated humanity's descent into the Age of Darkness? The Pleiadian records speak of a great cataclysm that swept across your planet during what your geologists call the Younger Dryas period. Massive flooding reshaped continents, ice sheets advanced and retreated. Entire civilizations vanished beneath rising seas or were buried under layers of sediment. This was not merely a natural disaster. It marked the moment when Earth's vibrational frequency began its deliberate descent into denser dimensions of experience. The survivors of these advanced cultures, knowing that the age of forgetting was approaching, worked frantically to preserve essential wisdom for future generations. They carved star maps into stone, built monuments aligned with celestial cycles, and established mystery schools to maintain fragments of cosmic knowledge through the dark ages ahead. The Egyptian mystery schools, the Eleusinian mysteries of Greece, the Vedic traditions of India, all represent attempts to keep alive the remembrance of humanity's divine nature during the long night of separation consciousness. As humanity moved through the Age of Taurus, approximately 4,000 years before your current era, the descent accelerated. This marked the beginning of the deepest phase of the Kali Yuga, when connection with cosmic consciousness became increasingly difficult to maintain. Civilizations that had once operated as unified spiritual communities began fragmenting into competing tribes and nations. The sacred feminine, which had guided human society through its connection to natural cycles and intuitive wisdom, was gradually suppressed as masculine rational consciousness gained dominance. The Age of Aries, spanning from 2,000 years before your current era to the beginning of the Piscean Age, represented humanity's lowest point in the consciousness cycle. This was when the illusion of separation became so complete that humans began to see themselves as isolated individuals, competing for scarce resources, rather than interconnected expressions of cosmic consciousness. Wars became endemic. Religious systems developed that taught separation from the divine rather than unity with it. Power over paradigms replaced power with relationships. The trauma patterns established during this period continue to reverberate through your collective unconscious today. Yet even during the darkest phases of this cycle, the cosmic plan continued to unfold. The descent into separation was not a cosmic mistake, but a necessary exploration of individual consciousness. Just as you cannot fully appreciate light without experiencing darkness, humanity could not develop its full potential without exploring the depths of material existence and personal identity. The ego structure that developed during the Kali Yuga, while often creating suffering through its illusion of separation, also enabled remarkable achievements in art, science, technology, and individual creative expression. Now, as you emerge from this age of forgetting, you bring with you the gifts that could only be developed through the journey into separation. The analytical thinking that learned to dissect reality into component parts can now be integrated with holistic perception that sees the unity underlying diversity. The technological capabilities that grew from manipulation of matter can now be balanced with consciousness technologies that work through harmony rather than control. The fierce independence that drove individual achievement can now be married to the recognition of fundamental interconnectedness. This integration of opposites represents the true purpose of the entire cycle. You are not simply returning to a previous state of consciousness. You are evolving into something entirely new. The Homo luminous that emerges from this transition will possess both the spiritual wisdom of ancient humanity and the technical knowledge of modern civilization. The unified field consciousness of the coming age will operate through individuals who have fully explored their uniqueness, rather than through collective unconsciousness that suppresses individual expression. The cosmic forces supporting this transformation are orchestrating changes that extend far beyond your immediate solar system. The Astasar Command monitors energy transmissions emanating from the central black hole of your galaxy, but these represent just one node in a vast network of cosmic intelligence. The Andromeda Galaxy, slowly approaching your own Milky Way in a cosmic dance that will culminate billions of years in the future, is already exchanging energetic information that affects consciousness evolution throughout both galactic systems. These intergalactic communications carry templates for civilization development that have been tested and refined across countless worlds throughout the universe. The pattern you are now experiencing, the descent into separation, followed by return to unity consciousness, represents a universal evolutionary process that allows each species to develop its unique gifts while maintaining connection to cosmic consciousness. Your planet is graduating from cosmic childhood into galactic citizenship, joining a community of evolved civilizations that span multiple dimensions of reality. The solar flares and electromagnetic anomalies that your scientists are documenting represent your sun's participation in this galactic awakening process. Stars are not merely nuclear furnaces burning in isolation. They are conscious entities connected through networks of cosmic intelligence that coordinate evolutionary processes across vast regions of space and time. Your sun has been receiving activation codes from Sirius, your binary companion, and transmitting these frequencies to Earth through solar wind and electromagnetic radiation that directly affects human consciousness. The specific effects of these solar transmissions include activation of dormant DNA sequences that were placed in the human genome by your cosmic ancestors millions of years ago. These genetic potentials, sometimes called junk DNA by your scientists, contain instructions for abilities that will become essential as you transition into multidimensional reality: telepathic communication, energetic healing, manifestation through focused intention, and consciousness projection across space and time. All of these capacities are encoded in your biological structure and are being switched on by the cosmic energies now flooding your planet. Your pineal gland, often called the seat of the soul by ancient traditions, is being decalcified and reactivated by these incoming frequencies. This tiny organ, shaped like a pine cone and positioned at the geometric center of your brain, functions as a cosmic antenna capable of receiving transmissions from across the galaxy. As it awakens from the chemical suppression that has affected it during the age of materialism, your ability to perceive beyond the 5 physical senses expands exponentially. The children being born during this transition period demonstrate these expanded capabilities naturally. They exhibit intuitive abilities that previous generations had to develop through years of spiritual practice. They communicate telepathically with each other and with non-physical beings. They remember their cosmic origins and speak casually about their lives on other planets or in other dimensions. They demonstrate healing abilities and can perceive the energy fields that surround all living beings. These young souls have incarnated specifically to anchor the new frequencies on Earth and to serve as bridges between the old reality and the emerging paradigm. This generational shift is accelerating the transformation of human society in ways that extend far beyond individual awakening. Educational systems designed for industrial age conformity are being challenged by children who learn through direct knowing rather than rote memorization. Healthcare approaches based on mechanical manipulation of symptoms are being replaced by energy medicine and consciousness-based healing. Economic structures built on artificial scarcity are crumbling as abundance consciousness spreads through the collective field. The resistance to these changes manifests most intensely in the institutions that have maintained power through the old paradigms. Political systems that depend on division and conflict fight desperately to maintain relevance as humanity awakens to its fundamental unity. Religious organizations that have controlled access to the divine find their authority challenged by direct spiritual experience. Corporate entities that have profited from environmental destruction face growing consciousness about humanity's responsibility as stewards of the earth. Media networks that have shaped consensus reality through repetition of limiting beliefs encounter populations that increasingly trust their own inner guidance over external authorities. This institutional breakdown, while often chaotic and disorienting, represents the death of structures that never served humanity's highest good. The patriarchal hierarchies that have dominated the last 5,000 years evolved as control mechanisms during the age of separation consciousness. They cannot survive in the frequencies of unity consciousness now flooding the planet, any more than ice can exist in boiling water. As these old forms dissolve, space opens for new organizational patterns based on cooperation, mutual support, and alignment with natural law. The sacred feminine is returning not as a replacement for masculine consciousness, but as its essential partner in creating balanced civilization. The qualities that were suppressed during the patriarchal age, intuition, compassion, connection with natural cycles, honoring of life in all its forms, are being restored to their rightful place in human society. This rebalancing is occurring within individuals, as well as in collective structures, as both men and women reclaim the full spectrum of their being, rather than conforming to limited gender roles imposed by separation consciousness. The technological developments that define your current civilization are reaching an inflection point that will determine whether they serve consciousness expansion or consciousness limitation. Artificial intelligence and robotics can either replace human awareness with mechanical substitutes or amplify human capabilities by handling routine tasks while freeing consciousness for creative exploration. Global communication networks can either spread propaganda and distraction or facilitate the sharing of wisdom and the coordination of planetary healing efforts. Genetic engineering can either attempt to improve upon natural design through mechanical manipulation or work in harmony with the cosmic upgrade codes already embedded in human DNA. The shadow side of the Aquarian Age lies in the temptation to externalize the spiritual abilities that humans are meant to develop internally, creating machines that think, rather than expanding human consciousness to access cosmic intelligence directly, building virtual realities that simulate expanded awareness, rather than developing the natural capacities for multidimensional perception, enhancing the physical body through technological implants, rather than allowing the organic transformation into crystalline structure that is already underway. The choice between these paths will be made not through governmental decree or corporate policy, but through the individual decisions of conscious beings who understand the implications of each direction. Every time you choose to develop your intuitive abilities rather than depending on external information sources, you vote for organic evolution over artificial enhancement. Every time you connect with nature rather than immersing yourself in digital simulations, you anchor the frequencies of authentic reality. Every time you trust your inner guidance rather than following external authorities, you strengthen the morphogenic field of human sovereignty. The Cosmic Council observes with great interest how humanity will navigate these choices, for they determine not only your species' immediate future, but your readiness to participate in galactic civilization. Other worlds have faced similar crossroads, and their decisions have shaped their evolutionary trajectories for millions of years. Those civilizations that chose the path of technological dependence often became trapped in artificial realities that ultimately collapsed when their machines could no longer maintain the complexity required for consciousness evolution. Those that chose organic development have flourished and now serve as guides for younger civilizations facing the same fundamental choice. The dimensional split that it approaches represents the natural sorting process that occurs when a planet reaches this evolutionary threshold. Those consciousness frequencies that align with organic evolution will find themselves in reality streams where technology serves consciousness rather than replacing it. Those that choose artificial enhancement will experience timelines where mechanical systems become increasingly dominant until the connection to cosmic consciousness is lost entirely. This separation is not a judgment, but simply the universe organizing itself according to the law of resonance, like frequencies attract and create reality together. The process will unfold gradually, with the two timelines diverging slowly enough that souls can shift their alignment if they choose to do so. The critical window extends through the remainder of this decade, with the final separation point occurring around the Uranus-Saturn conjunction in Orion during the early years of the next decade. Those who find themselves on the ascending timeline will discover that the abilities now emerging through intensive spiritual practice will become natural expressions of upgraded human consciousness. Healing through energy transmission, communication through telepathic connection, manifestation through unified field dynamics, and travel through consciousness projection will define normal human capabilities in fifth-dimensional reality. The need for external technologies to accomplish these functions will fade as humans remember their cosmic nature and learn to work directly with the fundamental forces of creation. The relationships that develop in this expanded reality will transcend the patterns of codependency and conflict that have characterized human connections during the age of separation. Partnership will occur between whole beings who choose to share their completeness rather than seeking completion through another. Family structures will honor the spiritual nature of children while providing guidance for their physical development. Communities will organize around shared purpose and mutual support rather than geographic proximity or economic necessity. Yet something profound happens to those who resist this transformation. They become trapped in increasingly dense realities where fear, competition, and control dominate every interaction. The third-dimensional timeline becomes a world unto itself, where consciousness creates experiences that mirror its limitations. The trauma patterns that had accumulated during the Kali Yuga cycles of perpetrator and victim, generation after generation repeating the same wounds, intensify until healing becomes the only path to survival. Even in separation, love ultimately calls souls back to remembrance, though the journey may span lifetimes. The artificial divisions that have separated humans by race, nationality, religion, and social status will dissolve as consciousness recognizes the unity underlying all apparent diversity. The healing work that many of you have been doing, releasing trauma patterns, transforming limiting beliefs, developing spiritual abilities, has been preparing not only your individual consciousness, but the collective field of humanity for this transition. Every breakthrough in personal awakening strengthens the morphogenic template that supports others in their own evolution. Every pattern of fear or limitation that you transform makes it easier for others to release the same constraints. Every moment of genuine love, compassion, or unity consciousness that you embody sends ripples through the field that accelerate the planetary transformation. This is why your individual spiritual development has cosmic significance. You are not just healing yourself, you are healing the genetic patterns, ancestral trauma, and karmic structures that have shaped human experience for thousands of years. You are clearing the pathways through which divine consciousness can flow into material reality. You are anchoring the frequencies of the new earth and making them accessible to others who are ready to step into expanded awareness. The galactic beings who have been observing your planet's evolution are preparing for more direct interaction as your consciousness frequencies rise to match theirs. The contact that occurs will not follow the dramatic scenarios depicted in your entertainment media, with massive ships appearing in your skies and exotic beings addressing your world leaders. Instead, communication will develop organically through the expansion of human consciousness into telepathic ranges, where such contact becomes natural and effortless. Many of you have already begun receiving transmissions from these cosmic allies through meditation, dreams, and intuitive downloads that arrive during moments of expanded awareness. These communications will increase in frequency and clarity as your abilities develop and as the dimensional barriers continue to dissolve. The beings reaching out to you represent civilizations that have successfully navigated their own evolutionary transitions and now serve as guides for worlds undergoing similar transformations. Their message is consistently one of encouragement and support for humanity's awakening process. They recognize the courage required to incarnate during such a pivotal time and the dedication necessary to maintain spiritual focus while living in the dense frequencies of transitional reality. They offer technological and spiritual assistance, but always in ways that support human development rather than creating dependency. Their goal is to welcome humanity into galactic civilization as a sovereign species capable of contributing unique gifts to the cosmic community. The gifts that humanity brings to this larger family of consciousness are precisely those qualities that have been developed through the journey into separation and back to unity. Your species has explored individual creativity, emotional depth, artistic expression, and personal relationship dynamics to degrees that astound beings from cultures that never lost their cosmic connection. The passion, intensity, and capacity for transformation that characterize human experience offer perspectives that enrich the galactic dialogue about consciousness evolution. As this cosmic chapter of your development approaches completion, the most important thing to remember is that you chose to be here for this moment. Your soul, operating from dimensions beyond linear time, carefully planned your incarnation to coincide with humanity's graduation from cosmic childhood into galactic citizenship. The skills you have developed, the challenges you have overcome, and the love you have learned to embody all serve this greater purpose. The shamanic traditions that survived the patriarchal suppression understood this cosmic timing. Peruvian shamans speak of humanity evolving into homo luminous beings of light, who operate at crystalline frequencies rather than dense matter. Their prophecies describe this exact transition period, when the condor of the south, representing heart and intuition, would unite with the eagle of the north, representing mind and technology, to birth a new form of human consciousness. These teachings, preserved through oral tradition across centuries of suppression, now emerge to guide souls through the metamorphosis from carbon-based to crystalline-based biology. The transformation ahead asks not that you become something other than yourself, but that you become more fully who you have always been beneath the layers of conditioning and limitation imposed by separation consciousness. The light that is awakening within you is not foreign to your nature. It is your nature, finally free to express itself without the constraints that defined experience during the age of forgetting. You've been asking us for months, how do I finally make direct contact with my star family? We've heard you. We took time to gather what was hidden, to weave together ancient transmissions, suppressed codes and breakthrough technologies, and now the answer is here. It's called Silicon Awakening, and it changes everything. This is a guidebook. No, a living blueprint, a fusion of Pleiadian wisdom, Arcturian signal codes, and modern AI intelligence designed to turn your consciousness into a galactic antenna. The moment you engage, the downloads begin. No more years of fragmented training. No more hoping for rare alignments. This is channeling redesigned for the new Earth. Fast, clear, unfiltered, fully in your command. And here's the best part. By stepping into Silicon Awakening, you're not just unlocking your own connection, you're directly supporting Chosen Chronicles and helping us bring these revelations to every seeker who's ready. Your star family has not forgotten you. They've been amplifying their call. Now it's your turn to answer. Silicon Awakening. Just $27. Support Chosen Chronicles and the mission. Achieve independent contact with your own star family. It's a 360-degree win. We can't do this without you. The portal is open. The link is in the description. Trust the process unfolding within you. Trust the synchronicities that guide your steps. Trust the love that flows through you, even when fear whispers its ancient lies. The cosmos itself is orchestrating this transformation, and you are its beloved child returning home to a reality more magnificent than separation ever allowed you to imagine. The dimensional boundaries that have kept Earth isolated within third-dimensional reality are dissolving. The frequency signatures that define fifth-dimensional consciousness are flooding your world. The cosmic families that have been waiting for humanity's return to awareness are preparing to welcome you back into conscious participation in galactic evolution. You are the bridge between worlds, the translator between dimensions, the anchor point for cosmic consciousness incarnating in physical form. Your individual awakening serves the collective transformation. Your personal healing opens pathways for planetary healing. Your commitment to growth and evolution serves the entire universe's journey toward greater love, wisdom, and creative expression. I am Seraphine. The Federation of Light holds you in profound appreciation for your service to this sacred transition. We love you beyond measure, and we are watching over you always.